And let's say good morning to Ami Kaufman, who joins us daily to give us a different look at the stories making headlines around the world.
Good morning, Meredith. How are you?
Good. Very serious.
Very serious discussion.
Serious
We're going to move on to some more serious stuff from the States. This is shaping up to be the battle, I think, of 2016. It is the battle between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The last few weeks have gotten pretty ugly, especially with Donald Trump being quite vulgar, using some derogatory terms in Yiddish, saying that Hillary Clinton was, as he said, schlonged in 2008, meaning referring to how she was beaten by Barack Obama in the primaries. Now he is bringing in Bill Clinton, her husband, saying that he has a terrible record of women abuse. We have a report about it. Let's check it out.
Donald Trump is taking aim at both of them this week, Hillary and Bill Clinton. They are the same couple Trump invited to his wedding in 2005. But now Trump is slamming both Clintons as the former president gets ready to hit the trail to campaign for his wife. Tweeting, if Hillary thinks she can unleash her husband with his terrible record of women abuse while playing the women's card on me, she's wrong. Trump, who's been married 3 times, previously said Bill Clinton's infidelity was no big deal.
Look at the trouble Bill Clinton got into with something that was totally unimportant, and they tried to impeach him, which was nonsense.
But now that love is lost. Trump tonight defending his use of a vulgar phrase that started this latest war of words between the two frontrunners.
Can I say the word? That's a common word in New York, and it means to be beaten badly.
Trump used that crass word to describe Hillary Clinton's loss to Barack Obama in 2008.
She was favored to win, and she got...
Clinton accused Trump of being sexist.
Which is not the first time he's demonstrated a penchant for sexism.
Trump responded, tweeting that Bill Clinton is the one who's demonstrated a penchant for sexism. So inappropriate.
Kind of eating his words there, huh?
Very harsh words. You know, I'm a little surprised at myself at this. I sort of agree with Trump on this. Hillary, I think it's, first of all, it's a private matter what Hillary does first, in her marriage and all that stuff. But the minute she decides to bring Bill Clinton into her campaign and use him as her surrogate in that campaign, I think he is fair game, and I think Donald Trump has a point with that.
Yeah. So I was wondering if he maybe has all these cards against her that he's kind of slowly releasing throughout the months.
That's an excellent question.
In December we're gonna talk about Bill.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point. A little more about this. At least about Trump and Republicans. Interesting op-ed from Paul Krugman, the Nobel Prize winner who writes for the New York Times, a columnist, talking about the GOP. Interesting, he says, you would have thought that they would have learned, the GOP, about former policies done by George W. Bush, because they're all reminiscing about Bush suddenly and saying what a wonderful president he was. But, Paul Krugman likes to point out a few things that he wasn't really that great. And he says, let me see this quote, while the mainstream contenders may have better manners than Mr. Trump or the widely loathed Mr. Cruz, when you get to substance, it becomes clear that all of them are frighteningly radical, and that none of them seem to have learned anything from past disasters. So Paul Krugman is, of course, saying, what a lot of people are saying now, that Trump and Cruz might look really radical, but the rest of them at the bottom that are polling, and a lot of them in the single digits right now, really aren't that much better. Yeah. And there are a lot of these bets that are going around that Trump and Cruz will eventually fail, and that Marco Rubio will probably surge in the polls soon. Not that much better than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Another one from the Jerusalem Post with Seth Frantzman, who wrote an analysis kind of op-ed yesterday about Donald Trump, Israel, and the Jews. That's the title of it. He says that Trump is very pro-Israel, but there's a lot of stuff that he said that distances a lot of Jews from what from voting for him. Let's see the quote. Trump's statements on prisoners of war, Jewish campaign contributions, which of course he's talking about what Trump said in that Republican coalition conference that we had a few weeks ago. Immigration and entry to the U.S., which is of course talking about the ban of Muslims entering the U.S., have touched on a very raw Jewish nerve. Despite his strong pro-Israel stance, given his character and controversial positions, Trump may not be the best choice to repair American-Israeli relations in the post-Obama era.
And he just canceled the trip to Israel.
He just can't. Well, I wonder if he's kind of been forced to cancel. I have a feeling that it was he was got some signals from Israel that he wasn't really welcome. I just want to say that Seth, Frantzman here says that Trump may not be the best choice. Wow, that is putting it lightly. Trump is definitely not the best choice for so many things, and yes, this is one of them, not to repair American-Israeli relations.
Interesting analysis there.
A diplomatic crisis now on a totally different subject, diplomatic crisis between Israel and Brazil. You can see from this headline from Israel Hayom, by refusing to accept Israeli envoy, Brazil risks downgrading ties. We were talking about Dani Dayan. Dani Dayan is a former head of the Yesha Council, which is this organization of settlers that represents settlers in the West Bank, Judea, Samaria, and Gaza, as it was called. And he's been trying to be appointed. Prime Minister Netanyahu wanted to appoint him to be the ambassador to Brazil. But Brazil is a very left-leaning, currently a left-leaning government that has actually recognized the state of Palestine, and they will not accept him because he is a settler. So, and it's been in limbo for the last few months, and now we hear that Deputy Foreign Minister Tsipi Khotoveli said that she plans to summon the Brazilian ambassador to discuss his country's ongoing delay in accepting Dani Dayan's appointment as Israeli ambassador to Brazil. I'd like to show you another headline from a Palestine News Network, which is also reporting on this.
Different angle here.
I like their language, the language that they use on this. Listen to this. Brazil's reluctance to accept an Israeli ambassador who is a West Bank colonist has set off a diplomatic crisis. The appointment 4 months ago of Dayan, a former head of the Jewish colony movement, did not go down well.
A term I've heard.
Did not go down well with Brazil's left-leaning government, which has supported Palestinian statehood in recent years. Most world powers deem the Jews' only colonies on Palestinian land as illegal. It's important to remind people that last year during Protective Edge, Brazil summoned its ambassador back to Brasilia because of that operation. And one of the Israeli Foreign Ministry officials said that Brazil is a diplomatic dwarf. That made things even worse.
Okay.
And just another headline from the Buenos Aires Herald in South America, which is also reporting on this issue. What's interesting about this online media outlets, they always focused on how Dani Dayan was born in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. And I've actually heard some people saying that one of the reasons that Brazil does not want Dani Dayan is because he is Argentinian.
Not because he's a settler.
Not because he's a settler, but he might
colonist,
be right.
As the Palestine.
It's obviously, it's a joke. They're taking it lightly. But I'm wondering if there is something to that, because the Buenos Aires Herald mentions it just about every paragraph that he was born in Buenos Aires.
Not only is he a settler, he's Argentinian. So that's
and Dani Dayan himself has taken to Twitter on the whole issue, and I want to show you this tweet, and later it's in Hebrew, but I'll show you the.
So translate for us, please.
This is the tweet in Hebrew, and if we could just bring up the translation, he says, "It's time to sum up 2015. I had some impressive achievements. In January, I succeeded in not becoming a Knesset member. He tried to become a Knesset member of the Jewish Home, but he didn't make it.
I succeeded in not. That kind of sounds like not a success.
And in December, I managed not to become, for now, an ambassador."
So it's a cynical tweet.
Oh, totally cynical. Dani Dayan is known for his cynicism. He's
At
very.
Least he has some humor.
He has a lot of humor. One of the more funny politicians that I've met. Very witty.
Very witty. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is unfortunately all the time we have, but we will see you later on in the show. So thanks for this, Ami.